Hello YouTube, Southern Wolverine here. Welcome back to this lovely dawn at the Kerbal Space Center. Welcome back to Operation Laythe. And I think in this episode, having done something a little unusual in the last episode and building the Rock Space Station, I thought I would try to develop some space plane technology. Because it's been a constant annoyance to me that every plane I make that works ends up looking sort of like this one that you saw me fly before, with the big old wing in the rear of the aircraft, and the only way to get it to lift off the runway is with these little canards at the front. And very few aircraft in the real world actually look like this. So what I'm going to try to do is develop a new set of spaceplane technology, and perhaps we can use this as we attempt to head to places like Laythe. We can also use this on a space plane that we can send up to the rock to bring crew back and forth. Actually, that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and equip this for unmanned flight, so that I can go ahead and use it to transfer crew, so I can send it up empty and bring somebody back, or I can bring somebody up and send it back empty, although I don't see any particular reason to send it back empty. Just leave it up there rather than do that. Okay. So we're gonna... You know what, for the moment I'm not even going to make a space plane. We're just gonna make a plane. And we'll just experiment with balance and things like that. So we're just going to put a couple of jet engines on here. And regular... Well, let's go ahead and use the turbojet still. Okay, so now... Still my center of gravity is fairly far forward. So let me try something a little bit different. I hope it will work, where we're gonna bring the engines actually forward. I'm gonna take, actually maybe I'll just use the standard jet engine or something. Go ahead and put a mount here. Give me, there we go, like this. That brings our CG way forward. Go ahead and throw the high altitude inlet on there, although that's going to make getting out somewhat interesting. Darn it. Fine, here. Why don't you want to go on? You know what? Maybe I can fool it. There we go. Now I'll turn symmetry back on. Ah. Oh, it was not fooled. You know what, here we go. Let's try that, actually. We'll mount them above the center line. That'll let me put a wing underneath the engines. Or underneath the intakes, anyway. You know what, let's just try to... Getting a little bit out of the box here. So let's get out of the box and try something. Go ahead and fuel line those together. I have a feeling like they're going to want struts to keep them in place. Just have that feeling. Okay, so we got some ridiculousness there. Now let's try to get our center line wing situation. Okay, I'm actually going to use like a sort of tail cone there. And if I'm not mistaken, there's this scientific nose coney bit that we'll just throw on the end. We've got a tail radome. Actually a perfectly normal thing to do. Quite a few things have radomes in the back as well as in the front. Okay, let's just try this wing and see what our lift looks like. You know what, would work better if we had symmetry on. And do our standard, as I discussed before, pitch it up a little bit. And bring the tip up for stability purposes. Not sure that'll be enough lift, but we'll see, I guess. Alright, so now we'll slap the tail on it like so. These are basically our elevators. And a standard sort of tail situation. So this looks, other than the kind of oddball engine arrangement, looks more like your traditional sort of aircraft. Well, it remains to be seen just how functional it will be. Oh, I suppose it would work better if I had engines. Let's, since this is just an aircraft, let's just use the jet engines for the moment. Oh, seriously, you don't want to go on? Why does it? See, well, I don't understand why this one works and this one doesn't want to work. It makes no sense to me why that would be the case. Okay. Alright. New plan. We have these structural standoffy bits somewhere. And these seem ideally suited to adding engines to. There we go. Assuming, of course, that I can get an intake on here. So we'll steer away from the turbojets for now. And let's see, we need aerodynamics for the standard sort of intake. Oh, seriously, come on, get on there. You lazy bum. See, why won't they both go on at the same time? Arg! Arg, I say. Alright, fine. I'll use one of these guys. This is just a little structural standoff piece. This should do what we want it to do. Get our engines away so that everything attaches. That seems to have worked. And I will leave them without additional struts for the moment and see how that works. Now, are these fuel crossfeed capable? It does not say. There is no more info. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that they do not have fuel crossflow and just line a fuel line out to the engine pods. And I guess that's what we're going to go with. Okay, and also like a sort of traditional, typical aircraft, I think I want to put the landing gear, the main gear, just aft of the center of gravity, the center of mass. So I'm going to use some of these structural pieces to do things like that. And I pitched them up too far. Darn it, it's hard to see what you're doing. You gotta be on the side to position it correctly. Come on. Come on. Go on there, damn you. Don't want to put this any further back than I absolutely have to. See, it's getting up, it's hitting the wing there. That's no good. Okay. Forget that. Forget that. We're already using some of these pylon-y bits. I'll just put them out on the wing. There we go. That's what you get. I will not be denied my landing gear. And it looks like we're going to have to put these just like that. And actually kind of so they'll reach out a little bit behind. Otherwise, if the gear is forward to the center of mass, this thing will just flip over backwards. And that's no good either. For pretty obvious reasons. In fact, I think I'm going to move the wing just... Oh, seriously? Just slightly to the rear. Why does my center of lift not move when I do things like this? There. Let's try that out. And actually now I can afford to slide these forward a bit. Okay. We might just have something here. And we're going to go ahead on this front one and unlock the steering for ground maneuvering purposes. Oh, I got an RCS tank on here. I don't have any RCS thrusters. So, at least for the moment, let's pull that off. This is still an experimental bird. It's alright, so we will call this the X1 Control Experiment Platform. Alright, and we're just going to go for it. We're going to assign Jeb, our 8th pilot, to the mission and see what we can manage to do here. So, okay. That actually doesn't look half bad. The engine pods are a little bit large. But so be it. Oh, are those actually a disconnect? Now I'm curious and I want to see. Let's... Oh, can I quick save? Break. Now quick save. They are in fact disconnects. Huh. I wonder why those... Well, okay. Let's just make sure we don't hit the spacebar more than once. And put the engines in the right place. Okay. Now don't hit spacebar anymore. Oh, wait. I gotta go back to the spaceplane hangar anyway, because I now realize I have no ailerons. And we're just gonna go overboard and throw the big ones on here. Don't need that set. Okay. Like so. Now does that change our characteristics? Yeah, a little bit, but should still be okay. There we go. That would have been interesting. We would have had a really difficult time maneuvering that bad boy. Oh, and the stages are messed up again. Whatever. Alright, let's see what this does. SAS on, throttling up. Let's just take it easy. This thing should pick up pretty quick, even with these standard jet engines on it. Yep, it's picking up speed pretty darn quick. Now let's... Come on, you can do it. Ooh, it's getting the nose up. Come on. Don't want to hit the tail. That would be most unfortunate. Ooh, it does not. It does not like to get vertical there. That is probably simply because we have the engines mounted up above the center line. So perhaps if I could get them down, this would work a little better. Yeah, so the engines are constantly trying to pitch down. That is something of a problem, since we don't want to really maneuver by pitching down. We want to turn up. Okay, well let's just cut the engines down a bit and see. Yeah, it's still not terribly maneuverable. Yeah, not a lot of pitch control, unfortunately. No! Come on, Jeb. You can do it. Don't crash. Ah, we're gonna crash. At least crash back on land. Okay, note to self. Engines above center line, bad idea. Oh, come on. Nope, he's coming down. He's coming down hard. Aww. Ah! This is frustrating. Alright, back to the spaceplane hangar. Okay, so the problem we have here is twofold. The engines are above the fuselage, above the center of gravity, which is going to cause this whole thing to want to pitch down, like so. And the way to deal with that is to Move the engines. And go back to... Oh, I got some extra fuel lines floating around here. Okay, so let's just bring the engines forward. I will give them another little tank. Oh, except we're probably going to have to give them a structural standoff, as we discovered last time. They don't like to stay there. Oh, that's the other pylon. It's the hard point. Okay, so that does come equipped with emergency bolts. The smart one appears not to. Okay, we don't really want to disconnect. Can't imagine a reason we would want to disconnect the engines. Not sure I like the way that works, but here, let's... No. Now I'm being indecisive. Okay. Darn it. We're going to attempt to just incorporate the engine into the wing. This isn't a big enough vehicle to put it under the wing like a lot of jetliners have. And I could do... I could put him back on the tail, perhaps. That's going to bring my center of mass really far to the rear. Alright, forget this. Forget this all. Okay. Let's just change this out completely. We'll go to a little simpler structure. This is just experimental after all. Just a single centerline engine. That should be more than enough to get this thing moving. And we can put this with symmetry on. About there-ish. Nope. One tick up. There. And actually I'm going to trade out these ejecting hard points. Darn it. Fine. Control Z. Take that. Why won't you let me select the hard point? Get out. Get out, you! Give me the one that I want. Yes, you. You're in. Alright. This might actually help my takeoffs, too. Because that will... These engines... Ooh, that's a little bit too low. Let's bring those in. There. It's a little bit better than putting them directly on the fuselage. A little bit better. Okay, let's mount them up like so. I don't know why that goes red on me when I do that. Come on. Okay. Alright, so put them like that. And then when we go to put this on, we'll angle it down. There. Now let's try to not move anything. Turn symmetry on. And our center of mass is slightly in front of it, so that's good so far. Okay, so now let's get some aerodynamic parts back out. Alright, we'll try this tail fin piece out. Just a single one. And we'll put a T-tail on it, like so. I want to get this as far back as I can, away from the pivot point that is the landing gear. That's about as far as it's going to go, I guess. And I could also attempt to move the landing gear forward, but one thing at a time, one thing at a time. And let's find the little The little guy here to act as our rudder. And let's see if we can have any luck with this, although it will work better if we have intake air. So we'll just throw a couple intakes on it, like so. And try again. Come on. I'm an aerospace engineer, for crying out loud. I should be able to get a plane to fly in this game. Oop, the wheels are tilted a little bit inward there, aren't they? Whatever. Let's give it a try. I'll fix that later if there's any point. Whoa, this thing still picks up speed quick. Oh, there we go. Ho ho ho! Yeah! That's beautiful. Whoa, I'm actually going to turn the fine controls on. It takes off and maneuvers quite cleanly. Alright, let's bring the gear up. And we'll do the standard test of aircraft, which is to go fly it to the other runway and see if we can land it on the short runway. Woo! Alright. Not too shabby. Not sure how well we can actually adapt this for spaceplane technology, but for a single stage to orbit it might work. I'm not sure how much sense it makes for an interplanetary vehicle like the one we intend to send to Laythe. But this is actually quite stable. I bet I could just about turn the SAS off. It has a slight tendency to pitch up. I probably over-pitched the wings or something. It's actually... oh wait, no, it's actually settling in kind of nice. It is tending to pitch up slightly though. And that, as we burn fuel, that tendency should actually reduce, because we'll burn weight out of the back and we'll actually end up with the front being heavier, so our CG should move forward, because I'm pretty sure that's heavier than the engine. Alright, cool. It doesn't look like much. It's not super exciting. It's not a mission to another planet, but I'm actually very thrilled with this. This actually looks like a standard sort of commercial aircraft kind of arrangement. It's flying just fine. I'm going to have to experiment with this a little bit and see if we can't adapt this into spaceplane technology. Indeed. There we go. Yeah, this controls quite well too. Quite a bit of pitch control. We can line up on the runway and demonstrate our maneuverability in doing so. Very cool. Let's get the gear down and go for this, Jeb. Perhaps I should do a flyby on the tower first. Nah, let's just go for it. Although we're coming in just a bit on the high side, so let's drop down, cut the throttle way down, and see if we can land on this dirt strip. Now this is always a fun one, because if you touch down early, you end up on a fairly steep little slope there, just prior to the runway, which can do a real number on your aircraft. Alright, let's use that tiny little rudder to try and turn a bit. Get a little bit lined up. Oh, we're coming down too low. Whoa! Oh! I actually hit early and survived it. That's fairly impressive. Sturdy little guy. Alright, brake, 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 brake! Whew! Alright. Very cool. Ooh. See, and thanks to that one wheel being capable of steering, you can actually turn around right on the spot here. Nice. That's actually quite satisfying. It's so pretty. I love it. Of course, now Jeb can't even get out because I didn't give him a ladder. But the, you know, we've proven that this can be made to work. Very, very cool. Alright, so I guess that will actually be about it for this episode, since I actually managed to achieve this a little sooner than I thought I was going to. So thank you guys for watching. And from the air, over Kerbin's waters, I'm here with Jebediah Kerman, wishing all of you a good day.